this is Dr. Mears. Today we are going to be going over arithmetic sequence and series practice. In order to find a term, I wrote down the formula to find a term. And in order to find a sum, I wrote down the formula to find a sum. These two formulas we are going to use. If you want to see all of the formulas, you can click sequence and series formulas. I will be adding on to this when we get into geometric. So let's begin our practice on arithmetic, sequence, and series. In an arithmetic sequence, the first term is 8 and the second term is 5. When I read these, I really like to write the numbers out in order here, how they're given to us, so I can see them on a straight line. All right, let's see what part A says. Find the common difference. So the common difference is how to get from one number to the next. And please notice, I almost started doing it myself, are these numbers increasing or decreasing? Are they going up or down? 8, 5. So they're going down. So we know that the common difference is going to be negative. Okay, well, by how many are they going down? Well, about 3. Now, if you didn't want to figure that out, what you could do is bring over your trusty old calculator and just take the second number, which was 5, and subtract it from the first, which was 8. And we're going to get that common difference of negative 3. That's going to come in handy in a little bit. So our common difference, which is represented by the letter D, is negative 3. Please do not forget that negative. Find the 10th term. So we need to find a term here, and the term that we need to find is 10. So our n is 10 because that's the number of the term we are needing to find. So this is u sub 1 and this is u sub 2. So if we went all the way to u sub 10, this is the one that we're going to find all the way over here. So let's go. Find a term. I'm going to use this first one. I'm going to use u sub n equals u sub 1 plus n minus 1 times our common difference d. So u sub n, we want to look for that 10th term. So this is the one I'm looking for here. This number, which number lies in the 10th spot. U sub 1 is the number that we start with. We found that was 8. Plus, we're looking for the 10th term, so we're going to replace n with 10 minus 1 times our common difference of negative 3. Please notice how I put it into parentheses. I like using parentheses because that will allow us to use our calculator. And you can put it in as is. You can put in 8 plus parentheses, 10 minus 1 and parentheses. And now be careful because when we do another parentheses, we're going to be putting in a negative. The negative button is down here, negative 3. And so it looks like that, negative 3, and parentheses, and we're going to get the answer of negative 19. Now this is really helpful. I'd rather you know how to use parentheses right now than go through and trip up on order of operations. If you know order of operations and you're amazing at it, great. But if you're not, I'd rather you get the right answer using your calculator, knowing how to work the parentheses. So the 10th term is going to be negative 19. So that means if we went all the way to the 10th term, we're going to get negative 19 with all these other little terms in the middle. Okay. Next, find the sum of the first 10 terms. So we need to find the sum of the first 10 terms. So we're going to be using the sum formula. The sum is S, the 10th terms, so n is 10 of the first 10 terms. So S sub n equals n over 2 times u sub 1 plus u sub n. So S sub 10, because we're looking for the first 10, equals 10 divided by 2. U sub 1 is the first number, plus U sub n is that last number. U sub n is 10, because remember, we're looking for the first 10 terms. So if we put in all the terms in the middle here and added all these up, that's what we want the sum for. And the last one that appears, the 10th term, is negative 19, and that's going to go right here. Now be careful because we are adding a negative here. If you would like to do this in the calculator, what you can do is you can put parentheses around the 10 divided by 2, or you can just simply say that's 5. But if we put parentheses 10 divided by 2, we can do that times, and then we can do our 8 plus a negative 19. You can put it in just like that. You don't need all the extra parentheses, that's fine. Enter, we're going to get negative 55. So again, if you trip up on negative signs and all of that, you can simply just put it in the calculator as is. You don't even need these extra. You can just put plus and negative. That's absolutely fine for us right now. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the sum of the first 10 terms is from 8 to negative 19, adding them all up, we would get 55. Now, if you watch the video where we investigated the arithmetic series formula, we went a little bit deeper, you found what I said is you can also do it another way. You can also do it where you find the midpoint, where you add the first and the last together. These are still the same formula as this, but you're finding the midpoint. You're adding the first and the last number, you're dividing by 2, and then you're multiplying it by how many numbers there are. So this is we delve a little bit deeper into the formula so you didn't have to memorize it. So if you want to do it this way as well, it's absolutely fine. So you're going to get 8 plus negative 19 all over 2. So S sub n equals negative 55. It'll be the same exact thing as if you did it this way. Either way you want. If you like adding up the first F-I-R-S-T and the last and dividing it by 2 and then multiplying it by how many you have, that's absolutely fine, because what you're knowing is that this right here gives you a middle number. So whichever way you want to do it, you're going to get the answer. Okay, next. The first 3 terms of an arithmetic sequence are 0.3, 1.5, and 2.7. So U sub 1 was 0.3, U sub 2 was 1.5, and U sub 3 is 2.7. So this was U1, U2, and U3. So we have to find the common difference. So that's how we get from U1 to U2, U2 to U3. So from 0.3 to 1.5. Now, if you can do it in your head, great. It's a little bit harder to count on your fingers, so what we can do is we can take that second number, 1.5, and just simply subtract it from that first. And we're going to get 1.2. Since these numbers are increasing, the calculator is right. It's a positive 1.2, so that is my common difference. So my common difference, which is represented by D, is 1.2. Okay. Find the 30th term. So we're looking for a term, so we're going to be using our U sub n equals U sub 1 plus 1n minus 1 times our common difference. So we want the 30th, so the 30 now becomes our n. Our U sub 1 was 0.3 plus our n is 30, and our common difference is 1.2. Putting that in the calculator, we're going to get 0.3 plus 30 minus 1 times 1.2. Again, I use these parentheses, and we get 35.1. So our 30th term is 35.1. So if we went all the way to U sub 30, all out here, we're going to get 35.1. Okay? Now we need to find the sum of the first 30. Find the sum of the first 30. So we have the 30th. So this was the last number. We have our first number. So let's substitute it into our formula. So the sum of the 30th equals 30 divided by 2 times our first number, 0.3, plus our last number, the 30th one, 31.5. And that's why I'm having you do these in 2 steps. I'm having you find the 30th, and then the sum if we added all of them up. All these in the middle too. Because that's a lot to add up. That's 30 numbers to add up. Especially with the decimals, I'd rather use my formula. It's going to be much cleaner, much quicker for us rather than adding all of these up in our calculator. So S sub 30 equals, we're going to have 30 divided by 2 times 0.3 plus 35.1. And we are going to get 531. 530. Oh, there's a little mark here. Oh no, 1. Let's just erase the whole thing. Let me back it up a little bit. Okay. Oh no, I think that was my printer. So 531. Put a little box around it. Oh, my poor smudge. Okay. So we get 531. So if we added all of these up, 531 would be our sum. Sorry about that little smudge. Okay, let's keep going. Example number 3. In an arithmetic sequence, u sub 2, the second term is 5, and u sub 3, the third term is 11. So let's put these now in order. So we have u1, which we're missing, u2, which is 5, and u3, which is 11. And this is why I like to put it in order, because sometimes they're going to trick you. Sometimes we don't have the first one. They gave you the second one. So we're going to have to find the common difference here, find the common difference. So how do we get from 5 to 11? Well, we are increasing. It's going to be positive. If you'd like to count, you can count, or you can simply just do 11 minus 5, and that's going to give you 6. So we added 6, which means we're going to be adding 6 to get to u sub 1. So what number do we add 6 to get to 5? You could just do 5 minus 6 and go backwards, and you come up with negative 1. So negative 1. And then you can always check it if you want to check it. So my common difference is 6. My first term we found, u sub 1 equals negative 1. And now I'm ready to go. And look how I did that automatically. I automatically knew I needed my first term because it's important in both of our formulas. So I find the sum of the first 20 terms. So this is a little bit longer now because it says sum of the first 20 terms. And so this is going to be really in my step 2, because remember, I'm going to need the 20th term. This is the 20th term here. So when I'm looking to find my sum, my first term is negative 1, but what is my 20th term? That goes right here, is the 20th term. So we have to find that first. So in order to find terms, remember, we're going to be using u sub 1 plus n minus 1 times common difference. U sub 20, I want to know the 20th one. So if we went all the way over here, I want to know u sub 20. What is that one right here? U sub 1 is negative 1 plus, I want to know my 20th times my common difference of 6. So let's try that out and see what we get. Negative 1 plus, I want to know my 20th term minus 1 times my common difference of 6. I get 113. So my 20th term here is 113. So if we went all the way over here, this would be 113 all the way down there. I'm ready now to find my sum. I have my formula. I want to know the 20th term, so I replace n with 20. I have my first term, negative 1. Now I have my 20th, which is 113. I can use my calculator to calculate that. I can do 20 divided by 2, parentheses, and then negative 1 plus 113. And remembering, please, the negative is down here. So I get 1,120, 1,120, and that is the sum of the first 20 terms. So if I expanded this out, if I included all of these numbers, I can add them all up, and I would get 1,120. Let's look at number 4. Number 4. An arithmetic sequence is given by 5, 8, 11, so on and so forth. Write down the value of D. Ooh, so now they're not actually saying the words common difference. You need to know that D represents common difference. We've been doing that all along though. So what do I have to do to get from 5 to 8 to 11? I am increasing, and I am increasing by 3. 8 minus 5 also is 3. Okay. Next, find U of 100. So I hope it doesn't do the black again. Okay, so u sub n equals u sub 1 plus n minus 1 times our common difference. We need to find u of 100. Our u sub 1 is 5 plus our n is 100 minus 1 times our common difference of 3. So they're asking you to go all the way to the 100th term. What is the 100th term? Now you could have 3 till you get to the 100th term. This was the first one. You started at 5. You could do all that, but again, this is much cleaner, much quicker. Okay, so let's see. What is the 100th term? So we're going to get our calculator, put it in as is. 5 plus 100 minus 1 times 6. Nope, times 3. Correct? Yep, it is times 3. I think the 6 was the one, so times 3. Let's just double check, good. And 302. 302. Awesome. All right, find the sum of the 100th term. Sum all the way from u sub 1 to u sub 100. So again, you could have found all the numbers in here. And then for the sum, you'd have to add up all the numbers in here. There is an easier way. So we get the sum of 100. I keep jumping to want to put the numbers in, and then I make this little mess here with the black. Here we go. Okay, and there you go. So n over, sorry, I think that was the printer ink, over 2 u1 plus un. Okay, so now the sum of 100 equals, we want the 100 up to 100 divided by 2. Our first term is 5. Our 100th term is 302. So if we added all of those up, without further ado, let's see, 100 divided by 2 and 5 plus 302. 15350. 15,350. That is our sum. Wow. Okay. Next. Here we go. Given that u sub n equals 1,502, find the value of n. We've done one of these before. So they actually gave us, we're working with this formula now, u sub n equals u sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. So they're giving us an output. So they say u sub n is 1,502. So you have to take out that u sub n and replace it with the number 1502. That's what they're asking you to do here. We know our first term is going to be 5. We don't know what number term that would give us, so we have to find what number term we come out with 1502. And then we know our common difference is 3. So up here, we knew that we have, this is 302. Our 100th term is 302, okay? What they're saying down here is they're saying, okay, we know we get to 1502, but what term is that? What number position is that? Where is it? Is it the 500? Is it 600? Is it 12? Is it the, we don't know. So what you could do here is you could guess and check. So you could guess for n, you can say, you know what? Let's try n equals 400. Let's try that. If we put 400 in here, let's see if we get 1502. So we can use the guess and check method. So we have 5 plus, let's see, 400 minus 1 times 3. Yep, what do we get? 1202. Well, we were close. We need 1502, so let me cross that out. Okay, let's try 450. Okay, let's see what happens. So we're going to do 5 plus 450 minus 1 times 3. Ooh, 1352. So we need 1502. That didn't work. You can keep going through and guessing and checking. Or what you can do is you can solve. So 1502 equals 5 plus n minus 1 times 3. When we solve, we want to get the 5, the minus 1, the 3, all of these numbers onto the other side of the equal sign. We want to isolate the variable. We want to find what n is. We want it by itself. We want what n equals. The first thing we remove is since the 5 is being added, that's the first thing we remove. It's positive, so we're going to use inverse operation, so we're going to subtract. When we subtract, we're going to end up with 1497 equals n minus 1 times 3. Now we have to undo this multiplication. This multiplication can be undone by inverse operation of division. We divide 1497 and we get 499 equals n minus 1. One more step, we have to bring this minus 1 over to the other side. Inverse operations, we add it. So we're going to find that n equals 500. So when we put 500 in here, we're going to get 1502. Let's try it out. 500 minus 1 times 3. So we're looking to get 1502. Do we get that? Let us check it out. 5 plus 500 minus 1 times 3. Yay, we got it. Woohoo! So this definitely checks out. we got 1502 equals 1502. And we are very happy with that. Okay, next. On to our last page. And in our last page, number 5, we have in an arithmetic sequence, u sub 1 equals 2 and u sub 3 equals 8. So we have u sub 1, we don't have u sub 2, and we do have u sub 3, which is 8. Ooh, so this is again why I like to write it out, because they only gave us the first and the third. So we need this middle term. Now you can go and you can count to see a common difference on both sides. We did have a formative on this, and that's the reason why I asked you on the formative was to see how you were going to do it. And many people showed me that they were able to do it. But because we want the middle term, I'm just going to bring back our midpoint formula that we've been using in the sum formula. So our midpoint formula is just adding up those two n numbers, 2 and 8, right? And dividing it in half, dividing it by 2. So we get 10 divided by 2, and that gives us 5. So that's the middle number here. The middle number is 5. Just by adding them up and dividing by 2, like we've been doing in the sum formula, the summation formula. So let's see the common difference. It should be the same. 2 to 5, we're adding 3. 5 to 8, we're adding 3. This does work. That's pretty neat. So we found our common difference, which is going to be 3. Now we need to find the 20th term. So if this went all the way to u sub 20, what would it be? Well, we've been doing this, so I'm just going to substitute it in. U sub 20 equals our first term, 2, plus 20 minus 1 times our common difference of 3. So u sub 20 should equal, there we go, 2 plus 20 minus 1 times 3. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't clear all that out for you. 2 plus 20 minus 1 times 3, 59. Perfect. So if I went all the way to the 20th one, I would hit 59. I bet you they're going to ask for the sum. Yep, here's the sum. So the sum of 20 equals 20 divided by 2 times the first term, 2, plus the last term, 59. So the sum of 20, so if we added all the numbers from 2 to 59 up, what are we going to get? Let's see. We're going to get 610. Okay, excellent. Let's see what our last one is. An arithmetic sequence is given by 2, 5, 8, 11. Oh, man, this common difference of 3 is just one of those patterns that we're finding, isn't it? So this is a common difference of 3. This is a common difference of 3. So we know our common difference is 3. Okay, they're jumping right into it, though. They want us to find what is the 100th term. So if this went all the way to u sub 101, the 101 first term. My goodness. Okay, so we've been doing this. 101 equals, the first term is 2, plus we need the 101 first term minus 1 times our very common difference. Get that, our common difference. So let's find what 101 is. 2 plus 101 minus 1 times our common difference of 3 is 302. I feel that we found that somewhere along the way here. Everything is coming together. Okay, now it says for our last one, find the value of n so that u sub n equals 152. So now they're going again. They're saying we're giving you this part, this output. This is an output. And we want to find what n you have to put in to get that output. So let's just write down our formula. Okay. So now they're saying, all right, I'm giving you this. This is 152. We already know the answer. They're giving you the answer. And they want to know what you put in. So u sub 1 is 2 plus n is going to be, well, I don't know. That's what we have to find. Times our common difference of 3. I'll stop saying common. So again, you can guess and check. You can try to put in, you can say, you know what, let's try, I don't know, 43. And if I put 43 in here, am I going to get 152? I mean, it's fun. It's a game. Let's try it. So 2 plus, what is it? What did I do? 43? 43 minus 1 times 3. 128. I need 152. I'm close. That doesn't work. And you can go on and try another one. I'm going to solve it. Okay, let's do inverse operations. Subtract 2, subtract 2. We get 150 equals n minus 1 times 3. Divide by 3, divide by 3. We get 50 equals n minus 1. Add 1, add 1. We get 51 equals n. So on the 51st term, we're going to come out with 152. So if we went all the way to u sub 51, and I wrote that, there we go, okay, so my d was 3. So if we went all the way to 51, that would be 152. And then we went all the way to 101, that would be 302. Well, that makes sense. That's pretty good. So let's just check it. So we have 51. So we're looking to get the answer of 152. Okay, so let's substitute that in. Sounds very familiar to me, substituting numbers in. Let's see if these are equal. Okay, let's try it. 2 plus, oh, let me clear this out. 2 plus 51 minus 1 times 3. Come on, 152. Come on, 152. Yes, I did it right. These are equal. This side, 152, does equal this side, 152. It checks out, and we are very, very happy. This has been the review of the arithmetic sequence in series practice. I hope it helped.